Hormel herb ribbed Italian style beef roast in au jus. Mostly the au jus, if you see here, I marked on the package is water. I'm, I'm guessing there's probably 5 or 6 ounces of water. It says you can cook it for 4 minutes. I ended up cooking it for, I'd recommend 8 for the first go around. I'm still eating it. I'll be finished with it in a minute. Um, I ate it by myself, all by myself. Over the last 14 minutes, um, I got this stuff about 4 months ago. I've had it in the freezer, so it's kept well. Um, there was about probably 5.5 ounce sections. It's very tender. It's so tender the meat actually is almost the same consistency as a fat. I'd rather it not be quite as tender, which is saying a lot. I don't know if I've ever said that about meat before. This is kind of like the texture is kind of like um, filet mignon, which I don't like, mainly because of the texture. I don't really like the taste either. This kind of has a unique package because if you see here on the back, the container it's in, which is plastic, bubbles up. It didn't bubble up that high. Um, if you look at it, this is what it looks like after. So I'm not too happy about that burn on the plastic. Um, I may suggest you take it out and put it in something else that's more microwave safe. It's got directions on the inside, which I didn't see until after it was cooked, for ingredients to make a whole meal, the other kinds of flavors that Hormel has. Something about Italian nachos and Mediterranean style pizzas. I don't know why they put that. I guess because they had room for roast beef. This is nowhere near like roast beef, what I'm used to, buying like a whole roast beef and cooking it in the grocery store in the meat section. This it really is pre-cooked. There's also a recipe for Italian beef. There's not a lot of ingredients in the sauce, but it's all good stuff. There's no preservatives in there. It's got some spices. It says garlic. Uh, it has a little bit of flavor, but not a lot. You might want to add something to it. It's kind of bland, like maybe like bland spaghetti sauce if you've had that before. Whatever you get in the jar, and then I doctor it up. I add like salt and pepper and sugar of my own and spices, extra garlic. I like a lot of flavor. If it's going to have flavor, I want it to have a lot of flavor. Um, it has the Hormel.com website on here and an 800 number, 543-4635. I usually, when I make videos, it's something I try that's fairly new like this, or new to me anyway, I'll send the video to the actual manufacturer. Uh, or if I compare like their containers to somebody else's containers that I think are different, or why one's better or one's worse than theirs. I've got a few videos of those that I've sent to people, but I'm trying to make a video of anything that I actually come in contact of to make a product review for it. Again, this is the ribbed herbs from Hormel, Italian style beef, roast beef in au jus sauce. It says it makes an ideal side dish, but then they show it on the inside here, like the main course on a complete meal in minutes. Um, this would probably be better in black instead of this light gray. It's a little difficult to read, especially for the ultra fine print, even with good light. Uh, this is cardboard, so I can recycle that. It's hard to recycle food containers that's been used with plastic, but I still put those in with my plastics. Maybe one material, or I don't know if they make any kind of material like that, or a tray that is reusable at all. But maybe they could add that as an option. It shows here in the picture it's got a little bit of baby spinach and some onions, which would have been nice. And this looks like quinoa and a little bit of rice, which there was a lot of sauce. The reason I kept heating it up is I wanted more of the au jus, more of the sauce in the meat. Every time I ate a piece, I actually heated it up for another minute and then ate another piece, and ate another piece, and I probably cooked it a total of what is it? A piece I think is like a third of the one of the 5 strips, so it's probably been 12 minutes. No, 14 minutes all total that I've cooked what's left, and a lot of the sauce is sticking in a little bit, and a lot of the au jus sauce is thicker. A lot of the water is evaporated. I tilted it on, just leaned it over the lip of a plate, and I tried to roll the meat in the sauce with a fork, which I'd recommend a spoon instead. I actually spilled a little bit, but I always keep, since I spill, I always keep a cloth handy to clean that up, and I keep it on the counter because you don't know how hot it's going to be too. For some reason, I've got a tendency now to, if the food's ever too hot, I swallow it instead of spitting it back up. And I've been doing that a lot at restaurants. I don't know why I don't spit it back on the plate, other than that's considered rude. But I'd rather be rude than not have my stomach and esophagus burning, possibly scarred from what would be burned by heat. Um, anyway, I'm trying to get out of the habit of doing that. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions. If you eat something too hot, or test it before you actually get it in your mouth. I burn my mouth, burn my tongue. It seems like for some reason that seems to be happening to me more at restaurants recently. I'm getting better at actually noticing it ahead of time, but it seems like the food is coming hotter, or so there's hot spots in it where it's not cooked consistency. I know consistently. I know a lot of restaurants reheat their food in the microwave. Maybe if they use a convection oven, or I'll just have to. It usually helps to stir everything, and I ended up mixing it up on my plate, which I've heard that's not good manners either. To keep it from being all hot, because there'll be hot and cold spots. Anyway, this has no preservatives. If you want it, I recommend getting it if you like this kind of food. Like I said, it shows 1.1 ounces. Uh, it's probably somewhere between 12 and 14 if you took all the water out. I know it's fairly expensive. I think this was, well, it's been so long ago, 17 ounces, around a pound for, I want to say, $4.50 or $5, maybe $6. But I'm fairly certain I had a coupon that was $1 off because this was new then. Uh, but it was tasty. It's a good meal. You could doctor it up, like I said, suggested with the spaghetti sauce to make it even better. If we get another coupon, I'd probably get it again, but I don't think I would pay full price for this. Uh, I got it at a Food Land, I think, which is a lot more expensive than a Walmart. It'd probably be $1 less, maybe two there, which would make it a lot more enticing to buy. It seems like a lot of the grocery stores only sell one specific brand or one specific kind of stuff. They don't mix for some reason. I guess that it's like keeping competition down on itself. If they sell Hormel at one grocery store, then they can't sell it at Walmart or vice versa. Anyway, I hope this helps if you decide to try Hormel. I'm fairly certain they're all the same, which means they're all probably pretty good. Uh, there's a couple listed with gravy and barbecue sauce. I don't know how willing I am to try barbecue sauce. One with sour cream, which I do not like. But I would try these with gravy. And it seems like there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, like 22 to choose from. So it does say on here to keep it refrigerated on the front, but it says on the back suitable for freezing. So I did well with that. And it says good till I think for about a month in the actual fridge. Even without preservatives, that's really good for meat. You stay away from preservatives if you can. Thank you.